he had some experience in this space too, you're never going to believe it, is now Donald Trump's detail. The guy running the Trump detail. It's the same guy. So when I tell you on the air things like, listen, I know the players involved in this. I'm not talking about knowing them like I ran into them at the local tobacco store. I'm telling you like I know them because I've known them for 20 plus years. And it's created a conflict. Conflict I've overcome, but it's a conflict, and I'm not going to spin your wheels. It has been very hard to me, for me personally, knowing these people, to tell the stories I've told you, but I have. Because it's important that I completely disregard personal relationships, and I tell you what my professional job is, and that's the truth. But I'm not going to be a poser like some other people in this business and pretend, oh, you know what, I'm above it all. I've never had these come. No, I'm not conflicts. That's all fake and phony. I'm just a guy, folks. I don't have any special powers. I've known these people a long time. And there's a part of me that really wanted to believe people were going to do the right thing. And they didn't. They didn't do the right thing. They did the wrong thing. I've known Ron Rowe for 20 years, the acting director. He did the wrong thing. It's now come out publicly, and I'm going to get to this in detail, that he was one of the guys behind keeping security assets from Donald Trump that I'm telling you would have prevented the assassination attempt in Buffalo. Nothing's going to stop me from putting the truth out there. You're not going to intimidate me. I've already seen it. I get what you're doing. It's only going to backfire on you. The more you try to stop me from talking, the louder I'm going to get. Folks, the guy involved in that is his detail leader now. I tell you that not as a negative against him. He was one of the people who sent the damn email saying, hey, there's a freaking spy in the Russian embassy, and nobody listened to him. So when he was sending requests for more security to some of the same management positions in headquarters, and they told him no, not much was probably a surprise to this guy I've known who's used to management people doing jack squat and jack left town when you tell them you've got a serious security problem. That happened. And I'm telling you on the air, subpoena me in front of Congress under oath, and I'll tell you the exact same story, and so will he. Because it happened. The Secret Service has been run for 30 years by people who will not adopt new technology, will not adopt new ideas, because there's some old person married to an old idea, an older employee who did something, and they don't want to hurt their feelings. I just told you a really, really big kind of bombshell story about a spy in the Russian embassy, our embassy in Moscow, the United States Embassy in Moscow. It was a huge story and was directly involved in it. I'll tell you an even smaller one to show you why nothing's going to change at the Secret Service until the management is ripped out root and branch and the entire culture's changed and the mission of the agency is reoriented. We had a system in the Secret Service when I was there. It was a time and management, that basically we call them TNAs, time and attendance. Ladies and gentlemen, the system used this program. I'm not a computer guy, but it's called Smartware. Now, if you know computers and you're laughing, this is when I was on the detail, the protective detail, in around 2005, 2006. We were still using this. Smartware, from what my wife Paula tells me, was used in like the 20s, before they even had computers. I'm kidding. This is like an 80s era program. Now you're like, well, why was the Secret Service wasting a bunch of agents' time using an antiquated crap time and attendance system when they just could have used things like a Microsoft program or something? You know why? You want to know the answer? Because some old guy at the Secret Service had implemented this Smartware system 30 years ago and didn't want to let it go. That's why. No. Yes. No. Yes. Want to know why the Secret Service didn't have a drone up out there that day? Because the technology's not a priority for them. I told you 2 weeks ago about the drone story. People have been warning about the drone problem, including me in a book I wrote 10 years ago about the drone problem. So why doesn't the Secret Service have the drone problem figured out? Because they don't want to. Because if they fix the drone problem, they'll have to acknowledge what? Does anybody know? Yeah, Jim's right. They'll have to acknowledge that there's a drone problem, which Jim just correctly surmised, and then people will start asking other questions. Oh wait, you guys don't have a drone thing? Well, do you have, and I'm not gonna, because I'm really, this is the part I don't want to give up, but do you guys have a solution for that? Oh no, not that either. What about that? Oh, well, not really. Well, what about that one? Kinda. What do you mean kinda? Well, kinda not really. Yeah, it's the Secret Service. Yeah. You mean they haven't thought of this stuff? No. Surely they haven't. No, they haven't. The Secret Service is working on a 1950s protection model, which is that if the president gets shot, jump on him. No. Yeah, you just saw it in Butler County. You just saw it, right? I mean, that was their protection model. Luckily, the guys had enough nuts to go up on stage and do that. But you're telling me in the year 2024, with all of these advanced technologies, AI, drone technology, camera technology, spy satellites, facial recognition, you're telling me the best we can do is, hey, if he gets shot, just jump on him. Yeah, that's it. No, that's it. I don't know what the management team of the Donald Trump detail is doing right now. I don't know if they're speaking out, if they're not. Folks, I've given up so much hope on this agency. So many people have let me down. I'm going to tell you something weird. It's kind of like when I ran for office. If you ever decide to run for office, this weird thing happens. I promise if you ever decided, you'll remember this. People you swore were going to be your biggest backers, the diehards, man. These people have been with you forever. What do you call them? The kids call them the ride or dies, you know? They'll abandon you first thing. They will. You're going to be stung. And people you never thought in a million years were even your friend are going to come out of the woodwork and go, you know what? I like you. I believe in you. And you're going to be stung. I ran for office quite a few times. And let me tell you something. It's shocking. The same thing's happening now. People I swore were going to, when this happened, I will never forget leaving that movie theater. My wife and I and my real estate lady were texting Paula saying, Trump was just shot, and me saying, I can't believe it happened already. I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't think it was going to happen that fast. I thought at least they would, get through the election season.